And on the third day, God Mikado rose from the grave. Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Ladies and gentlemen, and my camera is very out of focus right now. We are back! We are live! This channel is no longer dead! Like how we are now once again alive! As you saw in my video this morning, or maybe you didn't, I got my cardboard crack. Chaos Control Crisis content can properly begin. I have this stupid charger! I did a whole thing about it at the start of one of my recent videos. But I got this freaking charger for it and I can finally use this camera again. I'm really sorry that the Chaos video had such garbage camera quality. But that's not what we're here for today. You see, there's a moment where it's like, I've been trying to get this podcast together with the Young Golers guys. I've been lazy, as I typically am. And I've been failing to get it together because I'm very lazy. And also I'm lazy. But I was going like, in the meantime, I guess I won't do these weekly contests. But I was like, I saw another Raijin video and I was like, you know, this is literally the easiest form of content to make. Literally, actually, wait, no, there's one easier. It's called box openings. Now, I'm not saying that a channel that has literally only those two forms of content is the worst thing on this community's face. Actually, no, I am actually not saying that because there is a worse channel. But what I am saying is that it would be a cardinal sin for me to be making content actively, but be leaving you with only Raijin's shitty reaction videos, whatever they are, whatever his opinions are. I guess I'm just calling his opinions wrong, but they are typically. This is too much shit talking. I'm sorry. This is way too much shit talking. Actually, no, it isn't. Fuck Raijin. Let's go. All right. We got ourselves a chair. We got ourselves a kick-ass Bionicle poster. I got a few too many comments about. More than I expected, to be honest. But hey, it's good to know that my fans still have good taste. I was getting worried for a bit there. But it's good to know that you guys still have good taste, I think. Maybe. Okay, so let's get into things. We're just going to be covering things since the last Korokoro. Going through it real quick. Not going to cover everything. Cards, like the cards on, since they'll be in Japanese for the most part, you probably won't be able to read them. Go to Buddy Spoiler, pull up them there. It'll all be on the recent page. Whatever. Yeah, let's do it. So first up, we have a trash card. Purple Wake of Ruin. Abigail. This is the secret pack Abigail, and much in line with the secret pack cards that were in the character pack 1 and character pack 2 for bots and Athora. This is also trash, and I'm expecting an SD in a normal form in triple rare. They're actually good, just like with those two. But basically, this thing is 1 gauge, 6/1 when it enters the field, gain 2 life. End of turn, you can pop a card if you have a Black Dragon set, which you will. Now, the problem is, because it has to stick around to end of turn, it's not like on destruction, it just doesn't play well with what Black Dragons want to be doing. And you can't be, like, you just have to be keeping it around. That's not good for any build of the deck. Like, I tried it with control, but, like, it limits your ability to go into your push plays when the game is, when you're ready to go for game. And it limits your ability to draw stuff off of Balsam and stuff. It limits your combo potential there. It's just not very good. It's just not a good card. I really wanted to like it, but it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work with the deck. We've also got Abigail Spare, which is interesting. 2k power, basically the Tsukikage effect. When it would be destroyed, you can discard a card to keep it on the field. It looks okay. I get what they're trying to do with it, because I've gotten like 10 card hands, and like over half of them aren't shields. So like I would appreciate being able to do something like this, have a pseudo shield generator like this. But I'm not so sure on it. I think it would need some other small effect for me to be really on board with it. But like this, no thank you. Like if it had like a on destruction mill 1 or something, I'd be really on board with this card, but it's not, so Dark Bots is a dumpster fire. I want to like it, but it's 2 gauge. It can still be destroyed, and even if you get a draw off that destruction, like it can't combo with Balsam, and it's 2 gauge. It's 2 gauge. This card is garbage. It's a dumpster fire. Don't touch it. touch it. Arglay, this is interesting. So 2 gauge top soul, double attack, and whenever it destroys a monster, you get another soul. So this is actually, this is pretty decent stall card. This is pretty decent stall card, to be honest. Yeah. But, like, everything else in your deck revolves around having a size 1 in the center and comboing with Day Leopard and things like that. So just, it doesn't really play well into how the rest of the deck functions. So that's its big issue. And Black Crest Volcano, this is one to keep my eye on. I think this will be like a 1 or 2 of in most Black Dragon decks. So basically, at the end of your opponent's turn, if you have a Black Dragon monster on your field, you gauge 1, gain a life, draw a card. Like, really solid. It can be a bit awkward to pull off, but it's still just a really, really solid card. Especially since, like, worst case, like, you can do things like wait for all of your opponent's attacks to happen, and then, like, you removal voice something, and boom, now it's on 9 fully, and you get the Dragon Emperor Legend effect, and you're golden. So yeah, that's pretty good. Purgatory Knights. Purgatory Knights have been getting some really, really good stuff. So first we have Geist Demios, who is 6/2/1. So you sack a Purgatory Knight during either turn, and get one of 3 effects. The first is his standard restand. The second is during the attack phase, either player's attack phase, you draw a card. And the third is reduce the next damage you would take this turn by 3. All of these are really great. Yeah, these are just all like really, really, really fantastic. Yeah, this is, it's so good. Like, I could go on for hours about how much potential this has, especially with the other cards being revealed. But like, it's super good, especially since it can pop itself for that reduced 3 or that draw, depending on what you need. And it combos really well with the new set spell Purgatory Hymn. Purgatory Hymn is just when a Purgatory Knight's monster is destroyed, you gain a life and mill 1. So the mill 1 sets up Genocide Punisher, Purgatory Knights Forever, and Death Sickle. So that's good. And the life gain, like, you're going to be gaining 4 to 6 life every turn cycle. That is huge. And you stack down top of the deck now having access to a 5k defense double attacking ride. What? Okay, so, you know that thing called Kaiseron? Well, now it's in Darkness Dragon mode, and the only deck in Darkness Dragon mode that can really take advantage of it is Purgatory Knights, because it's like the only open center deck in Darkness Dragon mode. Like, everything else is closed center. So, like, Purgatory Knights are the only ones who can really use this card, but it's amazing. 2 gauge, top soul, 8/2/5, and has the counteract ability to pop a soul from anywhere on the board, including your opponent's field, to restand. And like, you can use that during its first attack. So say you attack into like one of the lesser authors that only gets 1 natural soul. So it only has 1 non-mystery setting soul. You attack into it, but before they can soul guard, during your timing in that battle, you use its ability to restand itself and pop their non-mystery setting soul. That's the sort of thing that makes this really, really good. It's super strong. It's not so good against bots, unfortunately, but that's just going to be an aggro fest anyways. Who knows what's going to happen there. But yeah, this is such a good card. Amazing card. Yeah, really good. Then we have Demios Early. Okay, so this is 1000 rapier stats, 5/2/1, size 1. This can't be called unless you have a Purgatory Knight on the field, but it's so worth it. So, like, you pay 1 gauge to call it from hand at counter speed. Named once per turn, of course. But, like, this is so, so good. Like, it combos with We Are Immortal, Necropalm into We Are Immortal. It combos with Death Sickle really well. Like, it gives Death Sickle a really, really good card to work with. It combos with Geist really well, because you can do this during your opponent's turn, and then use Geist to reduce 3 or draw a card or something like that. It's just really, really good. It's an amazing card. Such a big buff for the deck, this one card, and Geist. Like, these 4 cards are just altogether a huge, huge buff to Purgatory Knights. Like, and lets them, it makes them more of a mid-range deck again. Because, like, you don't just have to go face. You have so many other options of your playstyle. You can go for a control game pretty easily. You have a lot of life gain and a lot of ability to sustain now. Like, it makes the deck a lot more skill-based, a lot more rewarding, and a lot more viable. It's really good all around for the deck. Then we have the new Aussie archetype. I don't think most of these are very good. Like Dragon Mirror Image, it's like 1 gauge shield. Like 1 gauge shields that don't draw you cards or like really further your win condition, like burn damage. They just typically aren't that good. Like this doesn't replace itself. It doesn't replace itself. It destroys a monster. And there's so much destruction immune things. Like it's a slightly better death shield. Like it's not worth it. The Hawk is pretty good. Pay to life. Search for one of your big dudes. And when it's in the soul, it gives it move. So this deck can use Dark Kaiserion, so it has potential there. Yeah. Beginning of Demise, size 0. Get back in the Evil Deity Dragon, size 3 from your drop zone. Really good plus. Gone itself. Okay, so I don't see this archetype panning out right now at least. But I do see Gone seeing play in other decks. Because Aussie Dahaka Gone is amazing. It's very similar to Ball Soleil. Very versatile, very aggressive card, very good finisher. Like, I'm really liking it in Control Black Dragons, the deck that revolves around discarding all your opponent's shit. I think it's going to be really good there. It has a lot of potential there. You'd still run like 1 or 2 Ball Soleil, like 1 of each, to get back with Devos. But this would be your main guy because it gives you card destruction, it gives you field wipe, and it still gives you that 3 crit double attack on a bigger body, 10-10. Like, it's slightly more expensive, but it can also eat cards, so it can like eat a death gauge timer that's about to screw you over by killing all your gauge or something like that. So that's also really good. Like, it's just all around a fantastic card. I love it to bits and pieces. Okay, what else do we have here? Death. 13 is gimmick as always. Art is amazing by Daisuke Izuka. It's going to feel super satisfying to get this thing off, but 13 is a gimmick as always, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Daredevil, I don't see this card being played. The issue with a card like this, like costed like this and not doing anything else, is that it's like, okay, but your full field isn't going to be this. Your full field isn't going to be this, and you're not really benefiting from having a Daredevil, because Daredevil Force is not good. So, like, it's not a very good card. Yeah. Like, why would I run this over Gorodori? Why would I ever run this over Gorodori? Tsuki Kage and Byakuya. Okay, this is one I really wanted to talk about. It's not really good in death because it's a size 2, only has 1 attack. Like, Rebel Gallows is doing more than this card is. But what I really want to talk about is how this changes the game for ninjas, because this changes the game for ninjas. Ninja's deck building has had this huge issue for a couple sets now, for like actually probably like a year at this point, ever since the BTO2 dropped, where they have to run 50 million size 1s, exactly that number. They have to run so many size 1s and it can get really, really cloggy. But they have to do it to keep Gojin Maru and now Zangetsu live consistently. But a size 2 with the Daisuke Kage and Byakuya names completely changes the games, because this is a fill-in for any Daisuke Kage or Byakuya to help you make Gojin Maru. This is an instant resolution of Zangetsu. It's just an absolutely amazing card, and its effects are pretty decent to boot. Yeah, this is going to do so much for the deck, freeing up so much space in builds and letting them... now, what we need now is ninjas need better shields. We need better defensive cards for Katana World. Give us that in XBTO3 Bushiroad, and ninjas will be in a really, really solid spot. Yeah, this is such a big deal for ninjas. Then we've got what I just like to call the Pumpkin. This was revealed this morning. This is a new card for the Bone Domination Death deck. So basically, the deck was having some big issues with Dark Heroes and Skull Warriors because they could just leave their field empty, and you're just like, well, what do I do now? My things are 0 crit. So this thing creates a token on your opponent's center if they do not have a monster on their center with 6/2/6 stats, size 0. So they can't just size it out. So that's really good. What makes this card amazing. So yeah, that's really good. It fixes those matchups, lets you do things against those matchups. And more importantly, against any weapon-based matchup, like, and especially those that have open center shields only, like Dragon World, like you plop this in their center, And, well, what are they going to do? Like, even if they call over it with, like, a boomerang thing, you can then invitation that boomerang and still be blocking their weapon attack plus the boomerang thing's attack. I'm talking about linear in this instance, obviously. But, yeah, really fantastic. Really good card. Yeah. Also, I somehow forgot to mention this, but it's extremely, extremely important. It turns off Style of Justice. If they have something in the center, Style of Justice can't go off, and they're going to have a difficult time, like, getting rid of it. They're going to have to do some really awkward plays to just completely get rid of it most of the time. So, like, it's just turning off Style of Justice so that you can actually swing at your opponent, and, like, because of how that deck works, because of Jack, you will always have a 3 crit available to swing directly at your opponent, so that you're doing some damage despite Soulaster's whole thing. So yeah, this card is incredible. Yeah, probably won't be too much in the main board, but like maybe one or two of in the main board, I don't know. But this is a really good card for them to get. Really important. Deep has been getting some great support. Dark Athora, who has been through a million retranslations. It's a deep 7/6, 3 gauge, prevents effect damage. When it's destroyed, your opponent discards 1 and takes 1 damage. Pretty good. 9 rounds per turn, whatever. The new Dark Jack is actually a load of garbage. It's a dumpster fire. Because this is just a worse... it's a worse Darryl Burke. It's a Darryl Burke that needs to deal damage to your opponent to go off, and that's just not good. That is not good. Especially since a lot of deep support overlaps with Black Knights. So, like, the attribute of Darryl Burke is probably benefiting you anyways. So, like, why even? Why does this card even exist, Bushiroad? Why would you do this? Okay. Fire Rosa. This is a pretty interesting Black Knight card. 2 gauge, top soul, double attack, soul guard, counter attack. And it has an effect that deals damage to your opponent whenever it destroys one of your opponent's monsters. This counts counterattack, by the way. I don't think it's going to be too great because that 1 crit and too much destruction immune stuff. But it's a very interesting card. I'll give it that. That's why I'm mentioning it. And Devil's Shogun. This is a really awesome card. So 1 gauge reduces its size by 3. It's a size 3 naturally. Reduces its size by 3 if you have a size 2 or greater deep. Okay, the size 2 or greater deep is really important because it lets the old Grottos, the OG Grottos, still be used, to be usable with the deck. So that's really important. Giving good size 0s to the deck is good too. And like when it enters the field, you give a deep a soul. So like that's really solid. Yeah. Miscellaneous stuff. We have a new Galgagarios. This is pretty threatening, but it's still very weak to rest, just like Hellcougar. So Execution still have that weakness, but they have a really powerful new push card. So that's what the new Galgagarios does. Reprints. Our reprints so far have been Death Shield, which is like why, and Death Gauge Timer. This is really important to see at this time because this is a super important card for both Black Knights and Control Black Dragons. So it getting this reprint like right when it's about to come into usefulness is really nice. Really nice. I really appreciate this reprint. And I love the reprint's art. Like, the art looks so much better. We also got some erratas announced. They haven't been confirmed for English yet, but that'll probably come in the next couple days. Basically, there have been some loops popping up in Japan. Infinite loops. One's with On, one's with Legend. Basically, they involve the bouncer field cards. Force Return, Disguise in Your Hand, Gambit. That's what allows them to function. So basically, Bush will just knock them all 3 of those cards to once per turn, so that those loops don't exist anymore. It's unfortunate for some decks like Chess that really rely on these cards, but a lot of those decks are Dragon World, and thus are able to just run a mixture between Force Return, Disguise, and Gambit to deal with that issue. Yeah. What else was there? Right, it should be mentioned that these infinite loops actually weren't doing much of anything. They each had like a dozen or less wins at local level because regional season hasn't, the big tournament season for Japan hasn't started yet. But these were only like, these were these barely existed. They were not dominant decks at all. So don't let anyone tell you that they're a dominant deck. But Bushiroad has as a good card game company should, has an anti-infinite loop policy. So they nuked it. Good. Honestly, I think that these cards not being once per turn is just a relic of the early state of the game in which they were designed. So, you know, I have no problems with this happening. Evolution and mutation news. The big news here is that it was confirmed through the new commercial that the double deck stuff will be in secret packs. Honestly, I expected this because with just the character pack 3 stuff, there'd only be 3 secret packs, and with how if they altered the secret packs the same way that they did for Crossing Generations, this would result in very weird secret packs. These would be too common. They would end up making the secret stuff too common, like more common than triple rares, and obviously that's not how this should be going. So basically, what I believe is going to happen, I think what's most likely to happen is that Lord Demios will have 2 copies of it thrown into the existing Persia Knight secret pack, and then Drum, Jack, and Yamageto will get their own secret packs. It's interesting to note that Bushiroad did the smart thing, the thing that will make them more money, and put Soul Aster as the Jack secret pack card. So yeah, that's the thing that's happening. Cool stuff, I guess. Whatever, I don't care. It's a thing. It was like it's not really going to make them that much harder to get. There's still going to be like 4 to 6 of each of the main cards of these per case, so that's still a pretty standard ratio. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, what else is there? I'm sure there's some other stuff. Right, Buildmaster stuff. Okay, let's quickly go through this stuff. Raging Storm bots, I think, is going to end up making like the other bosses go down below 4 so that you can fit all of these. Like OG bots, I think will only be 2 or 3 of, because this thing is OG bots before Life Break, and after Life Break, it gives you that penetrate that the deck is sorely lacking with the same damage output as OG bots. So it's really good. New Drum is cool. Could see play in the 5th Omni Drum deck, maybe. What else is there? Tenbu is pretty cool. It's okay. I don't know. I'm not too fond of it. After that, we have the Legend World. The Legend World support is really good. Fenrir is amazing. Sylph is amazing. Like, moving. Like, there's not really much to say here. Both of these cards are absolutely incredible. I love them both to bits and pieces. Katana World support. New Ibuki is really awesome. I really like how it interacts with Hades Falls that have been hiding Onid or Lethal Formation in general, letting you bounce those cards back to your hand and reuse them. And also gives you like an easy out to like Black Ring and stuff, clear their center that they can't protect from bouncing, get rid of Invitation for the turn, whatever. And it sets itself up for ambush, so it's really good. Really good support. The new Oni Assassin item lets you draw a card whenever you call something from drop. This is kind of stealth Skull Warrior support. And by the way, Skull Warrior's got a new Yamagitsune. Doesn't kill itself in any turn, 5/2/1, 1 knife. Revives the size 1 or less, regardless of attribute. I don't know if that attribute thing is actually going to come into play, but it seems like a pretty good card. Like a good Setsuna. Basically, that's what it seems like. No, there's some other stuff. Magic World. Roosterfield and Asmonai are pretty cool, but I don't think 72 Pillars are going to get enough in this set because, like, from what we've seen with the Buildmaster stuff, it's split between multiple archetypes. So, like, 72 Pillars has, like, maybe 1 or 2 more cards here. So, Roosterfield has a cool combo there, though, where it can, after being, like, if you call it with an Asmonai, it swings 3 times. Then you can use Check It Out, bounce it to hand, recall it, and it swings twice more, which is pretty cool against open center decks. But with 4K power, it's not doing anything like anywhere else. And like open center decks typically have some form of removal, so like I don't see this card doing too much in their current state. I don't know. Charismatic Asmonai, whatever, is a free revive of something, so that's pretty good. So I definitely see that making waves. And what was the last one? Ancient World, right. I don't really care for either of the new cards too much. Seeger should have the OG Seeger name. Without that, it's just not good unless they're giving us a new series of evolutions. And Jaeger is okay, but doesn't really do much to buff either of the existing decks. Stop trying to do new stuff with Jaeger. Like, I get it. New stuff is cool, but stop it. Please. Just focus. Come on. Okay, so what else do we got? The last thing that we have, let me pull it up. Summer Recollection, right. We've got another promo campaign coming up. This will be releasing with Evolution and Mutation in English. So the 8 pseudo reprints we've got this time are Green Shield, Proto Barrier, Black Dragon Shield, Noble Sacrifice. I really approve Noble Sacrifice because the current English version is misprinted. So getting one with proper print is nice, even though like I don't think it should really be run currently. I don't like the gauge cost. What are the others? Snake Gaze, right, Snake Gaze, Sturdy Dragon Strike, I've Seen Through Your Moves, and Questence of Cossion. All these except for Green Shield and Proto Barrier are really good pseudo reprints. All of them are really nice. I really appreciate, the ones I appreciate in particular are Snake Gaze, Noble Sacrifice, and Sturdy Dragon Strike. Those 3 I really, really super appreciate. Even if Sturdy Dragon Strike isn't seeing play right now, it's a card with basically infinite potential, so it'll probably be played again at some point in the future. Snake Gaze, really good to see that reprinted again for newer players who have been coming in with X. Especially with Katana about to get support again. And as I said, Noble Sacrifice has been seeing a lot of play in Japanese Black Dragon lists. I imagine a lot of people will be playing it again. I don't personally like it, but I approve of having a correctly printed version of it in the format. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed that there's no Leisure Mold Summer Recollection card, because that would have been really, really nice for Toilet because of how Menjo works. But whatever, that's all there is. Actually, I started this video with shit talking. I have to end it with shit talking. But before I do that, if you like what I do here, guys, go check out my Patreon. Subscribe. Click that bell to get notifications. Yeah, that stuff. That garbage I could scream at you every video. I don't know. Help me out, guys. Give me money. But let's end it with some shit talking, shall we? Because, like, see, here's the thing, Rajan. Rajan, I'm talking to you right now, Rajan. Menjo doesn't owe you anything? When Menjo only opens 1 new card, you don't get, like, why do you feel that you're entitled to be a little prick about it and whine endlessly? I have to read this every single time Menjo reveals only 1 new card because, oh, he didn't have godly pack luck. You do realize we get 2 cards a day, then Menjo, like, even if Menjo only opens 1 new card a day, which is pretty much the average, really, we're still getting, like, what, 7, 14, 21, 23 cards a week. Is that not enough to satisfy you little shitbag, you little shitlord? I can't stand you, or your content, or your voice, or your anything. Alright, I have fulfilled my quota for shit talking for the day. Goodbye, everyone.